Really, this game started through 3.5 innings, I think, pretty well for the Padres. They had a 4-1 lead, the offense getting 2 runs in the first inning, 2 more runs in the third, even through 3.5 innings, through the top of the fourth inning. Padres 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. They did leave 6 on base through the first 4 innings, but you know what? They had a 4-1 lead. Michael King, pretty solid through 3 innings, and I think you felt pretty good with where this game was at heading into the bottom half of the fourth inning. And obviously, this game totally turned in that bottom half of the fourth inning when the Rockies scored 5 runs on 5 hits. There was a pretty important error on Jake Cronenworth in that fourth inning that really contributed to the big inning as well. It wasn't all on Cronenworth. Was the error costly? It was. But even after that, Michael King was hit pretty hard in that fourth inning. And another case of where the Padres commit an error and it comes back to bite them and comes back to be pretty costly right away. It's just been that way in the first 26 games now of the season. When the Padres make a defensive miscue, it seems like time and time again, it cost them. And it was that way certainly in the fourth inning. Brendan Rodgers, obviously the grand slam to give the Rockies a 5-4 lead. They end up scratching across one more run, bases loaded walk in that fourth inning. All in all, like I said, a 5-run fourth inning. Rockies then got one more in the fifth inning to make it a 7-4 game. And that would end up being our final score. So look, again, the error costly, but things just unraveled on Michael King in that fourth inning after it was a pretty good start. He wasn't perfect. He walked a guy in the second that came around to score. There was that bouncing ball down the third base line in the bottom half of the second by Montero. I thought it was clearly foul on the replay on TV we watched here in the studio. It was ruled fair. RBI single later in that inning by Nolan Jones got the Rockies on the board. But again, in that spot, it was just a 2-1 Padre lead. Padres would get it out to 4-1. So we know the fourth inning, a major problem in this game, and the error by Cronenworth didn't help. The thing that was really frustrating in this game, beyond the fourth inning, because the fourth inning, things like that happen. Sometimes an error happens, sometimes a guy is cruising and things unravel, and they especially happen at Coors Field. That part of the game, to me, is not the most frustrating. The most frustrating part of this game was what the offense did after the third inning. In the final 6 innings of this game here tonight at Coors Field against a Rockies pitching staff that has not been all that good so far this year, and a Rockies team that is now sitting at just 6-18, the Padres had 3 singles after the third inning. They had 1 runner on second base. In fact, the Padres didn't have a runner on second base from the 5th inning on. So they didn't have much offense at all. And keep in mind, at that point, it's a 6-4 game, it's a 7-4 game. And quite frankly, at Coors Field, I mean, that's not that big of a deficit. And you felt like the offense would be able to get it going at some point in the middle and late innings, and it just did not happen. The hits after the third, a single by Tatis, a single by Merrill that came all the way in the 8th inning, and a single with 2 outs in the 9th inning by Cronenworth. Those were the only other 3 hits in the game after the third inning. And to the Padres' credit, they had traffic all over the place in the first 3 innings. Could have even had more in the first 3. They end up scoring 4 runs. Okay, I'll take it. Could have been a little bit more. But the way the offense shut down after the third, and really after the fourth inning, where they did not have a runner on second base the rest of the way, very frustrating here tonight. This, even when you trail against this Rockies team by 2-3 runs, it's only the fourth inning, the fifth inning, you just hope that this game was far from over, right? And it would just take, some Coors Field magic, if you will, and we see it all the time in Denver, to get the Padres right back in this thing, tie the game, take a lead. But unfortunately, that 7-4 score after the 5th inning, that was the final score. So, obviously what happened in the fourth was costly. I don't think he expected the inning to sort of unravel on Michael King like that, but I look at sort of the offense in this game as a main culprit of why the Padres did not win this game. You thought in the middle innings there, this was turning into one of those kind of classic Coors Field games, and it really didn't. It went the other way as the game got later and later. There were no runs scored in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and 9th. So credit to the Rockies bullpen. Jalen Beeks was outstanding out of the pen, relieving Ryan Feltner. 3 scoreless innings. Jake Bird, Justin Lawrence, all putting together scoreless outings. So a really, really good job by the Rockies bullpen, and the Padres offense just could not get it going offensively as this game got later and later. And look, I think for the Padres right now through 26 games, and we've talked about it. We talked about it last night on the postgame show quite a bit. I think there's a lot you've liked about what they've done so far this year. At the same time, it feels through 26 games, and we've got a long way to go, and 26 games is a very small sample size in a 162-game season, but it feels like right now it's a little bit one step forward and one step back, right? We see the offense do some really good things. Even yesterday, they had the issues with runners in scoring position, but you know what? Late, they found a way from the bottom of the lineup to get some big hits when they needed it. But then here tonight, you're looking at the offense, and it just doesn't quite add up, the inability to really get it going in what was a pretty close game against this Rockies pitching staff. So, look, tonight, frustrating one for the Padres. They'll see if they can bounce back tomorrow in the third game of this 4-game series with right-hander Matt Waldron on the mound as the Padres fall 7-4 to the Colorado Rockies. They drop the 13-13. Rockies are now 6-18